Hi guys, Laura here. I'm here today to do the top 5 Wednesday tag. This week's theme is second books that were better than the first. I have a couple of books to share with you, and I am filming this a little bit early because Wednesday is my birthday. So you guys will be seeing this on Wednesday or earlier, but I just wanted to film it a little bit earlier so I could actually enjoy my birthday. The first book I wanted to talk about is, in reference to the tag, is The Scorched Trials by James Dashner. I did talk about this in a previous video that I thought that simply the series got better, but I really did like book 2. First of all, it took them out of the maze and it put them in a real world situation that they were going to have to deal with for the rest of their lives, and I was really like that. I also thought that Thomas really upped his game as a hero, and you could see that in his actions and also how other people viewed him, and that simply impressed me. I was really impressed. And it also had the characters dealing with a lot of ethical and moral issues that I did not necessarily predict or was not ready for, but I really enjoyed it, and I was excited to see what was going to happen to these characters. And this book did not disappoint me. I also love all the new characters that we met and the elements that happened to some of the characters and just the facts that we got about the world. We learned a lot about book 1, but this book really expanded my world knowledge, while book 1 was more about the maze, and we were not going to go back to the maze. So I really like learning more about the world and also the characters and also the ethical dilemmas that they wound up into. So that's why I think that you guys should definitely, if you were not a big fan of the Maze Runner, definitely read The Scorched Trials, because I thought it got better. The second book I'm going to talk about is by Alexandra Bracken, and it is Never Fade, which is the second book in her Darkest Mind series. I will admit, book 1 I really did like book 1. I thought it was very good, but it was very dark. The first 3/4 of that book basically took place in a concentration camp. So it's very dark, and it's X-Men powers, but very bad X-Men powers in that regard. And I just really wanted a little bit of levity. So book 2 for me showed two things. It showed a little bit of levity, not a lot of levity, but it also allowed the characters to learn more about their powers and also focused a lot on friendship and dynamics. And it also introduced a very important villain into the story as well. So I just really like this book a lot, but it definitely added some levity to a story that otherwise could have been really dark. And Alexandra Bracken definitely focused on the relationships in this novel and used the foundation that she created in book 1 to just create a really fascinating read. And I was really impressed by it. I highly recommend, if you have not continued on with the series, you do, because it's definitely worth the read. And I know that the movie is coming out soon, and I will probably hopefully wind up re-listening to book 1 on audiobook, because I do have that, and hopefully eventually get book 3 because I want to reread this series at some point. The next one is really no surprise, and that is the second book in the Heroes of Olympus series, which is Son of Neptune. This is the book where we re-met Percy. In book 1, we got to follow Jason and follow his old drama at Camp Half-Blood, but in this book, we were back in Percy's head when he went to Camp Jupiter, and I was just so excited to be back in Percy's head, and I loved learning about a new world with Percy, because I really enjoyed that, and I love all the main characters that we meet, and it was just such a fond, I just really was happy to be back in Percy's head because I missed him, and I missed knowing what was happening to him. So this was the other side of the Lost Hero that I just wanted. So I was really impressed by it, and by the end of this book, I was like, okay, these two sets of 4 characters need to meet. So I was very excited, and that's exactly what happened in the subsequent novels in the series. But I just thought that this book really added to my engagement of the series, and I just had to know what was happening because I was back in Percy's head, who was probably one of my favorite characters in all of literature. But I definitely was happy to be back and meet all these new characters and explore a new world with Percy. And then the next book I'm going to talk about, I think I've talked about this a little bit before, but it is Wind Witch by Susan Dennard. This is the second book in the Witchland series. The first book is Truth Witch. I will admit, I did struggle a little bit with Truth Witch because it was you were waiting in a world that your characters understood, but you didn't, so you had to get information in kind of a weird way. So I think I was lost about half the novel, about 100 pages in. I finally got the world, but I just loved that this book, I knew the world I knew the world pretty well, so I was confident with that. And I also liked how this book had all our main characters basically separated into different places, so this story increased in vastness of what world we got and what characters we met, and the story just expanded a lot, other than book one, which was the very, very insular storyline. And I just loved seeing the characters kind of working stuff out on their own without their, their best friends or their, the people that they rely on. So it was a very, very like vast story told through many different point of views, and I'm so excited for Bloodwitch, which comes out next year. And then the last book I'm going to talk about is the second book in the Vampire Academy series, and that is Frostbite. I like simply knowing what to expect in this world, and I think that as the books increase, especially in this book, the action and the adventure increase, and I just was really engaged, and I think I just loved the changes that happen to Rose's character, and I just loved having a foundational knowledge and not having to rely on that, because this world is a little bit complicated. I think Richelle Mead can create really, really complicated worlds when she wants to. So I think that it was definitely a book that the second book I just was more captivated by, because I just knew what was going on, and I really, really loved the relationship that developed between all the leads, but also the drama that happened. So these are the top 5 books that I think that were better. The top 5 books that got better than book one. Let me know in the comments what series you think this happened to. I have a lot of series on my shelves that I haven't read book 2 yet, so that's why this is like a little bit of like an obscure haul. But yeah, so and I've also been reading a lot of contemporaries recently, so I haven't been reading a lot of series. But overall, these are my thoughts, and if you have any comments below and we can have a chat. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!